either the output shaft or the pulley was bent on this Sears 10XL. So I finally got a puller, jaw puller, to try and get that off. So I'm going to be taking that off and taking a look at the output shaft to see what the deal with this engine is. Got some PB Blaster to see if that might help, and some engine degreaser. If the output shaft isn't bent, or isn't something I might be able to bend back or fix or something, then I was going to kind of start disassembling this tractor and maybe cleaning it up a little bit, deciding what I'm going to do with it. So working. All the screwing around I did with this, trying to get this off, and all I needed was a puller. Wow. 22 bucks. Alright. I honestly don't think that the output shaft is bent. I've spun it all the way around and it's square every time. And I know that's not the proper way to test that, but I actually can tell if you look at this enough. This video ain't gonna show it, but I think this is bent. And that would make sense. I don't know if it's from using the snowblower or people beating on it or what, but it's not nearly as thick as that output shaft. So I would think this would be easier to bend anyways, but I think it just needs a different pulley and it should be alright. Carburetor is loose. We got an extra choke cable, some wiring that doesn't go to anything. There's a nest back here under the shroud. I think this little thing on the back is so cool. I always love finding stuff like this when I buy old used, well-used garden tractors. Some guy probably welded this together and I just think it's cool. I did get the nut down there loose. It always helps when you turn the nut the correct direction. pretty cool. I'll reuse that. Drives me nuts when you see younger guys buying these old tractors and the first thing they want to do is, I'm going to do a pulley swap on it and go 25. These rear ends are so heavy built, and you can have them geared so low with a little engine pulley, and you got your high-low and everything, and God, you can really pull a lot with these. Alright, piece of wood, sweet. I'm not sure what year this is, but my other identical Sears is a 72, so it's 51 years old, and the rear end is strong as ever. Back when things were made the way they should be. I don't know what that piece of wood's for. Now, for the longest time, I've been using a 1/2 by 72. This was in the clearance rack at Tractor Supply. It was actually like $6, and it is not a 5/8 by 72. It's a 1/2 by 72. Yeah, it even says on this 1/2 by 72. I've been using these forever. That measurement's burnt into my brain. But this being an original setup doesn't mean this is gonna work. So I'm just winging it. In fact, 5/8 might be the standard for Sears tractors. I don't know. But I know with the Harbor Freight engines that I run and the pulleys I run, 1/2 by 72 is always perfect. Of course, there's probably a guide in the way. Yep. Sweet, sweet. Well, anyways, you get it. So I got this belt put on. I had to loosen a guide down there. But anyway, I'm going to clean it up a little bit, put the rear tires back on so I can move it around. But I really need to dive into this engine and figure out what I'm going to do with it. This muffler, I don't know if you can see that. It's so rusty and it's not even on there straight. It's not even a big muffler, no wonder it's so freaking loud. I know in my previous videos I mentioned that it shakes real bad. You could even see it when the pulley was on here. The pulley was not balanced when it was turning. And I'm still on the bridge between thinking that it could be the output shaft that's bent or the pulley. I have no idea how to figure out if this is bent or not. I really have no idea. I tried, you know, spinning it and looking at it and using a square and everything. I don't know. I have no idea. And I know the carburetor is loose. If there's any air, any type of gap between the carb and side of the engine there, it's going to cause some kind of issue. So that needs to be addressed. I got a bunch of random electrical wiring that I don't know if it needs to be on there or not. But I'd really like to, if this engine can be fixed up without breaking the bank and taking a ton of time, I'd like to keep it on there, keep it original. And I'm picking up a John Deere Snowplow for my 212 sitting outside this weekend. And I was just thinking I'd like to make a mount for this so that I can hook up a John Deere plow to it, but also put it back on the John Deere if need be. I know I have a plow here that I could take off and stick on this, but I don't want to do that. But the axle's bent, so I thought, hell, maybe putting a putting a snowplow on the front and plowing a bunch of dirt with it might straighten the axle out. I don't know. Alright, welcome back to day 7,000 of doing small things on the Sears. Last time I left it, I had just gotten the new belt put on, fenders taken off, little hitch deal on the back taken off, got the wheels back on. And before I go any farther with this, I want to figure out what I'm doing with this engine. And I haven't ordered a new pulley for it yet because I don't want to spend the 40 bucks on the Sears pulley if the output shaft really is bent on this. And so I just don't know what I want to do with it yet. And I kind of considered just test fitting this engine with the stack on it and keeping this engine and working on it on my bench until I feel it's good enough to go back on. But then it's already on there, but it needs stuff. It needs a new muffler, carburetor needs to be fixed, obviously the whole pulley and output shaft situation being bent. So I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. So I was just cleaning up this engine a little bit and I found something out. This setup for the tensioner pulley for the drive system is not independent. It is hooked to the engine, which I've seen before, and I've actually made custom independent tensioner pulleys, so then you can basically put in any engine on it that you want. I'll explain that. So this one has an independent pulley on there. It's hooked to the tractor itself under the dash here. So if I take this engine off, that is still there. But on this one, it's hooked to the engine, so if I remove the original engine, then I have to custom make that. There's a plate right here, kind of hard to see, but it's attached to the engine, which in the past what I have done is I took that plate and I welded it to the bottom of the battery and gas tank mounts, and it's not hard to do, but I just don't feel like doing it right now. But what that means for this engine is that I'm keeping it on there, so I'm gonna have to get a new muffler and get a pulley for it. But for now, I am going to clean it up, tighten down this carb because it's loose, and I think there's a nest or something under the shroud, so I'm gonna clean that up. I'm gonna do everything I can until I get my my parts. So I've been digging into this a little bit more. I took the cover off of the starter generator assembly here. Belt is a little loose, but I can tighten that, I think. I did notice there's a notch here, so if I want to, I can pull start it, which I don't know if I'm gonna, but took the battery out, take a better look at the electrical stuff. I don't like random cables hanging out like this, which I assume is the assembly for the headlights. This is cut because I cut it. It was that rear light on the back. I don't know why, but I always take those off. I don't care about that stuff. I don't know. Got an old choke cable that doesn't work. I'm gonna pull that out of there. And then I think I'm gonna work on getting the shroud off, getting the nest out from there. I did tighten down the carburetor, so that's tight on there. That should actually run a little better now. All right, this ought to be good. Sweet. Look at that. That's what happens when you leave your stuff outside. Oh, that's nasty. I'm actually surprised that didn't start a fire. Well, I need more air. Wow. All right. Now, I'm no genius, but having all that nest inside of this could not have been good for this engine, especially as far as heat. Covered all the cooling fins on there, but I got that all cleaned up. Now to put it back together. Not sure how tight you're supposed to go with these, but it's pretty close to a Chevy alternator setup on an old square body, so I'm just winging it. So I got that all cleaned out, got the shroud back on. I'm not gonna put that outside cover on yet, even though your foot gets really close to it, but got the throttle cable, the electrical hook back up. I'm gonna throw a battery back in, put a seat on it, and for fun, I'm gonna throw the old pulley back on so I can look at it again. But I'm gonna start it, take it for another drive, and see if tightening the carburetor helps it run a little better. So I got it all put back together. I had some issues with the shroud. It was hitting on the flywheel, but I bent it out a little bit so it wouldn't hit. Battery's back in. The seat is on. All the electrical connections are tight, which a lot of them are really loose. I got the pulley back on, the one that I think is bent, or that I know is bent somehow. New belts on there, but I'm gonna wheel this outside, see if it starts up. So I just need to get a new drive belt for this. It's a little bit too small, so it's grinding gears. But anyways, this is a new Cub Cadet plow that I picked up this morning. I thought it was a John Deere plow. I bought it for my 212, but when I saw it right away, I knew it was a Cub Cadet one. But I'm going to make custom mounts so it fits this unit. Might use it on the John Deere too. I might use it on both. I don't know. But I did get a new pulley ordered. It's just like this pulley, only it's just double grooves. It doesn't have the third one there for a snowblower, because this one's definitely bent. But yeah, I need a different seat. That seat's terrible. The engine honestly doesn't run that great. I don't know how much life the engine has on it. I think once the engine kind of takes a crap, then I'm going to redo the drive tension system and maybe put a different engine on it. And then when that happens, I'll repaint everything. But for now, I kind of like the crappy look, the rust and all that. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But if you've watched this whole video, which this whole video's been a mess, I appreciate it. So stay tuned for more videos on this unit. Thanks for watching.